Usually I don't upload news style videos since I kind of have to rush them and they don't turn out that great a lot of the time, but considering Wargaming just accidentally leaked.
Wait, this is my channel. Wargaming just accidentally leaked new Lunar loot boxes and 4 new tanks. The Kust, the Project 701, the Object 168G, and the KPZ Eric Concept 1, coming presumably next week. Here's what we know. While it's expected that the 701 and 168G are unlikely to be released outside of the Chinese 360 games version of What, stick around until the end as we will still be covering how we found out about this event and covering all 4 of these tanks' characteristics. With the new Lunar New Year Serpent's Treasure announcement article yesterday, the What Steam page announced the release of the KPZ Eric Concept 1 and the Object Kust. This was very quickly edited since they didn't want to release this information to the Western audience yet. Thank you Reddit for grabbing the screenshots in time, the one and only time I will say that. Fortunately for us, 360 Games from China has posted already about the new Celestial loot boxes, which will be called Serpentine boxes on Wargaming's version of the event. Now whether or not we see this event brought into Wargaming's product directly remains to be seen at the time of scripting this. However, with the accuracy of the 360 leaks for the black market that just ended, it wouldn't be a surprise if this was also correct. The Chinese client's loot boxes bring the opportunity to grab unique style versions of the Byzante Stone Sentinel, the Borask Miel, the Astron Rex Alembic, the Progetto Mars, the SHPTK Shotek, as well as the BZ176 and the EBR75 FL10. Alongside the new Object 168G and the Project 701. Now, while we may not see the return of the BZ and EBR, most of the other vehicles were available in the last auction lot. So this would be the perfect way to exploit gamers' fear of missing out by encouraging gambling in loot boxes for a tank you may have wanted but did not receive during that last auction, essentially robbing you of 7.5k gold. However, there is always a chance that the tanks available are completely different. Aside from the Steam mistakes, how else do we know that the loot boxes are coming to Wargaming's World of Tanks? Well, someone clearly forgot to do quality checks on the YouTube videos since I left, and as the announcement video shows, we can clearly see a tab in the in-game store for loot boxes. So in the case the CMs are running around right now in a panic, I'm sorry, and you're welcome. It's more than likely that these loot boxes and tanks will be released on the 6th of February, but that's enough about the details of how we know this info. Let's now actually take a look at the new tanks themselves. Firstly, the Object 168G. This is a tier 8 Soviet premium medium because we definitely don't have enough of those already. This tank has damage parameters identical to a 274A. The gun handling feels a lot like the 110's 100mm gun, yes, the better gun, and the armor is similar to the AAT-60. The mobility feels like the tier 7 Leo. I know, I have no idea what that means either. So this should give you an idea of what you're working with, and if many of these tanks are as irrelevant to you as they are to me, then there's one conclusion. This tank is going to be pretty mediocre, at least on paper. Moving on to the Project 701. So what do you need to know about this tier 8 Soviet premium heavy? Well, let's compare it to more or less every other Soviet style single shooting heavy at tier 8, with a few exceptions. Literally almost everything is worse in this tank compared to even some preferential tanks and many vehicles that are well out of the meta at this point. This tank is a worse K2 for the most part, and if you remember my showcase stream on the official channel for that thing, you know I lost a part of my soul being told to make that thing look worth getting.
Hey look, we did 1.1k chat. We did 1.1k.
That should tell you everything you need to know about this. If you get this, you'll probably sell it, or it'll sit in your garage collecting dust. Let's move on to vehicles we know are definitely being released during this event though. Starting with the Kust, a tier 8 premium Soviet tank destroyer. Again, not like we have plenty of those already. Way to find the gap in the market, Wargaming. It does, however, have a siege mode. So what does it compare to? The armor is very similar to the hull of a 112, and with 279mm penetration, it comes in as the 4th best tank at tier 8, only topped by the UDES-03, STRV S1, and ISU 152K. With 550 alpha, this will be a hard-hitting gun, but at 3.5 rounds per minute and 1.9k base DPM, it might not be that effective. But surely the siege mod will help the reload, right? No. Despite better dispersion and aim times in Siege, the only other thing that changes is your mobility, and well, it gets worse. With a top speed of 50 km an hour and reverse of 20 with a power to weight of 18.5. Aside from traverse speeds, it's very similar to the mobility of a WZ-121 FT. As soon as you go into Siege mode though, you drop to 5 km an hour forward and reverse speeds. So in short, pain. With moving and stationary camo the same as a GSAW 1008, this tank isn't going to be like the Swedish line, known for their concealment. Now, you may be thinking you can play aggro on ridges with this, due to the frontal armor. But with the tumor on its head, good luck not getting obliterated. Now, lastly, the KPZ EK1, a tier 9 premium German medium with an oscillating turret. So at least it looks unique, right? This tank has similar penetration and damage values to the Leopard PTA, and gun handling very similar to the SHPTK, but with a longer aim time. So don't expect it to be as breathtaking. With a top speed of 65 km an hour and a reverse speed of 20, the tank's terrain resistances are exact copies of the P44 Pantera, and the traverse speeds are exact copies of the AMX-30B. As Incoming would say about the Gonzalo and Caliban,
Almost all of the hidden stats remained unchanged, and if you're wondering what that entails, oh boy, the Gonzalo does 420 damage on non-pens. Yes, really. This is because they copied the files over.
Wargaming are just being lazy and copying tank values wherever possible. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link to it down below. Lastly, the armor and concealment are nothing noteworthy at all, so expect to fill a support role with this tank. That's more or less everything we know so far, so let me know what you think of these tanks in the comment section. Do you think selling some of these tanks in loot boxes, which were also available in the final auction deal, is a predatory tactic? I'd like to thank Incoming for helping me find comparable tanks and for his little cameo at the start. Be sure to go check out his channel. If you enjoyed this video and want to know why things like this aren't covered by CCs as often, be sure to check out this video on why I believe the CC program is flawed. Hit subscribe for more future content and share this video with your friends if they aren't already aware of the loot boxes and these new tanks.